Well, good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, February 13th, and it's quarter after 10 in the evening. I'm not going to make this a long rant. I know I say that every time, but I really don't have too much material tonight except to talk a little bit about the impeachment trial. And I'll tell you, things went fast today. And I thought we'd at least have a few days left, but things turned out a little different. And turned out that Donald Trump got away with it again. Got acquitted in the Senate. Guilty people, the amount of people that voted for him as guilty were 57 to 43 that thought he was not guilty. So I was surprised to see that 7 Republicans crossed over the line and voted to convict Donald Trump. That was nice, but we needed at least 67 and we didn't get it. But even looking at those figures, 57 guilty to 43 not guilty. It's too bad it wasn't a majority because he'd be convicted. So, it's been a wild ride, people. I just sometimes wonder, I just wonder about our state of justice, Is there justice? Sometimes I think there isn't. But anyway, I thought the House managers did an excellent job. They proved their case, and surprisingly, there were some Republicans that were interviewed that also felt the same way. The House managers proved their case, and they went from the very beginning, how Donald Trump used social media, he used Twitter to get to his base and came up with this lie. Well, first of all, he said that the only way he'd lose is if the election was rigged. He started that, and I know when I first heard that, I thought, uh-oh, sounds like Donald Trump might have something up his sleeve. He's the type of guy that you know he's plotting something, but you just don't know exactly how he's going to do it. So we finally figured out how he was going to do it. But anyway, really what had happened, the reason why they even had this impeachment, as you all know by now, is that there was this big rally that Trump and his ilk had at the ellipse of the White House, and he hyped up. There were other speakers there, Rudy Giuliani and others, that hyped the crowd up and like, oh yeah, we got to stop the steal. People had "Stop the Steal" signs, and Trump got out there and said, it's not fair what happened, and they took our votes away, and we're going to march to the Capitol, I'll join you. Yeah, he joined them, all right. One thing about Donnie, he never stops lying. Never. But he said, well, we got to fight to take back our country. If you don't fight, we'll lose our country. Everything he said was inciting that mob to go down to the Capitol and attack. Now they can sit there and say, well, I didn't tell them to go into the Capitol and damage, break windows and, trash offices. He didn't have to. What he said, he was basically saying, oh, well, You can do whatever you want. I don't care what happens. Just go down there and do what you have to do to make sure I win the election. That's basically, he didn't come out and say that, but that's what he implied. So anyway, they finally decided to impeach Trump, and they pushed it through, and we had the trial. So today was reckoning. I know there was talk about the Democrats are going to have some witnesses. They wanted to have some witnesses, and then the Trump's counsel, they started crying. Oh well, we're going to have at least 100 witnesses, and I know the one attorney, I think is Van Neal or something, some funny name. I have it written down here. Pardon my voice. I'm hoping I don't have a cold. But oh, I got his name right here. One of the attorneys, Michael Vanderveen, Veen. He's sitting there saying, well, he says, we'll have to have it out of my office in Philadelphia. Well, the whole Senate laughed in his face. They laughed. They thought he was joking, I guess. And he came right out and said, no, I'm not joking. Well, the president of the Senate at the time, he had a gavel and he said, we got to have order and all that. But anyway, they had some sort of they had a quorum call, and so they could discuss what was going to happen next. And they finally came up to an agreement to accept a statement from one woman that they put into the record, her testimony. And that was the end of that. So then it cleared the way for closing arguments. And of course, I was laying down watching it on the sofa, and every time I lay down, I conk out. And that's what happened. And when they were voting, I conked out, but when I woke up, it was already done deal. I thought maybe in a way that was good, because I probably would have threw something at the TV. I tell you. But I did get to see Mitch McConnell's speech. What a joke. What a joke that was. He voted to acquit former President Donald Trump. But, oh yes, he was responsible for the mob rioting and all that stuff. And there'll be some criminal consequences down the road, yeah. But he voted to acquit him. Figure that one out. So I said, you know what? They didn't vote for our country today. They voted for their political party. They they want to keep on Trump's good side. So to be on the safe side, this is how they voted. I'm glad there's some people. I'm glad there's at least 7 Republicans that have enough backbone and balls that they voted their conscience to convict the idiot. And then, of course, Trump released a statement. I don't have it in front of me right now. I wouldn't dignify it by reading the whole thing out, but he did make mention that, oh yes, there's going to be things planned in the months and weeks to come. So he's going to flap his lips or whatever. He's going to try to stir the nonsense. So keep your eyes open, unless, of course, he gets criminally convicted. And I figure right now you have the state of Georgia that's investigating him, and the Southern District of New York. So hopefully they'll get on it. And from what I heard, that it might take a few years. I hope they do something, because I would hate to think that he'd be running in 4 years and get reelected. I wouldn't put anything past this idiot anymore. I mean, right now we think of 2022. He wants to get more people in the House so he could gain control, have the Republicans gain control of the House. But we as blue dot Democrats, we got to stand up. We cannot give up. I know it was disheartening today. Trust me, when I saw the verdict and stuff, I'll be honest with you, I tweeted, or not tweeted, but I texted a friend of mine, and I said, there's just no justice. You know, you have the House managers, they laid out the whole case. You know, you could not, after seeing that, think any differently. Donald Trump orchestrated, and incited this mob of right-wing nutjobs to go down there and invade the Capitol. And in the process, 5 people got killed. But that doesn't matter to Donnie. Long as his position, he wanted to take control, he wanted it by force to continue to be president. And it didn't work out. And unfortunately, we lost 5 lives. So, I don't know. I remember, like I said, growing up, we had morals and values. I don't think we have that like we did before. The Republican Party and the Democratic Party, I know, particularly the Republican Party, I didn't agree. I never did agree with everything. There were some years I did agree, but most I didn't. But at least you could have respect for the Republican Party to a certain degree. And at least the candidates who became president, for the most part, acted presidential. This ding-dong didn't act presidential at all. He did everything opposite. He wanted to be the first at everything. Didn't matter if it was bad. He wanted to be first. Like he's the first president to be impeached twice. Okay? I'd be ashamed if I was in his position. But not Johnny. Oh, boy. He probably looks at it like, I shook up the establishment, man. And, well, I don't know. I hate to think of what the future is going to be like. But anyway, I guess that's just about all I have to talk about here. I'm just looking over the... Yeah, I think I covered about everything. I said it's not going to be a long one tonight, but I'm still numb over what happened, you know? If anything, I'm comforted by the fact that I did call up, I have 2 state senators. One is Bob Casey Jr. and Pat Toomey. Now, Pat Toomey is going to be retiring, but I called the Capitol switchboard today, and I left a message on there. I said, Donald Trump needs to be convicted. I said, there's plenty of evidence from what the trial managers presented there, the House managers. I said, you need to vote to convict him. And he did. He was one of the 7 that voted to convict. Now, of course, what does he have to lose? He's retiring. But a lot of those Republicans that voted for, I guess it was 43, they voted him not guilty. Hey, they have their political future to think of, you know. They don't want to get on the bad side of Mr. Trump. Especially that Phil Graham, or Lindsey Graham. That's his name. I always get him confused with a previous congressman. He's no longer there now. I don't even know if he's still alive. Phil Graham or something his name was. But Lindsey Graham, that guy is something else. He's like a tree in the wind. He blows one way, then he blows another way. Whatever way the wind goes, that's what he does. But it's my understanding that McCartney guy is going to go down to Mar-a-Lago again, so I guess it's more ass-kissing to do. And they'll plan their strategy, what they want to do for 2022, because he's dying to be Speaker of the House. He wants to get majority of Republicans in the House. But hopefully, people, we band together and see what the Republican Party did. We can't forget what they did, people. We cannot forget. And so when the time comes, we got to get out the vote. We got to make sure people are registered Democrat and vote Democrat. We don't need this nightmare to happen again to us. Well, anyway, that's about all I have to share. Remember, I'm on YouTube as John I Fly, and it's JOHNIFLY. Please subscribe, like my videos, and be sure to add your comments on there. I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. I do answer the comments back, so make sure you check back and see what I wrote you. Or if I haven't necessarily answered your comment, I'll at least like it or click a little heart up there. They have a little heart symbol, which means I love what you said. So, like I said, just remember to like the video and subscribe to my channel. I'm also on Facebook as under my real name, John Unell. I think it goes under John R. Unell, Unell. Just look up John Unell, you'll find me. Oh, it's John R. Unell. John. My middle name stands for Robert, by the way, in case you were wondering. But yeah, feel free to comment. Thanks for taking the time to listen to me. Stay tuned. I at least try to do one round a week. I might step it up to 2. I want to make sure there's enough going on out there that I have to talk about. I didn't really prepare a lot of notes tonight. This is more or less off the top of my head. I did make a few little cheat notes. But yeah, I'm just, I still can't believe it. I mean, you know, like everybody, you always have this hope. You always think, well, maybe enough people they'll surprise us and they'll vote to convict them. And whatever. Anyway, like somebody says, it is what it is. So we just got to move on and see what's on the agenda. Joe Biden has a lot of stuff to get done, and we have this pandemic to deal with, and I'm doing the best I can to stay protected. I have a little phlegm in my throat. Every time now I feel this, I'm thinking, God, I hope I don't have it. So far, my temperature's fine. I check out fine when I go to the doctor. But just remember to be careful out there, people. Be safe. Wear a mask when you're going to be around other people, and wash your hands at least 22 seconds or so. Wash your hands with plenty of soap and water, and try to stay away from people that just don't use their heads and don't care if they spread the diseases or don't wear masks or whatever. And because we want you to stick around a little longer, you know. I want to stick around long enough so I can vote more Democrats in. So anyway, listen, have a good night. I'm going to upload this and send it out, and hope you have a good Sunday morning and a great coming new week. Don't forget, too, tomorrow is Valentine's Day, the 14th, so make sure you let your significant other know that you love them. Send them a dozen roses or candy or whatever. But, okay, people, you have a good night, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.